brain or fingers first? Before undertaking a task, you normally want to have a cognitive framework first. For example, in driving, you definitely need to know the rules of the road and the mechanisms of the car before even hitting the road. In building a guitar, you'd want to know which type of woods work, what each type of glue does, and so on. However, when it comes to music making, the process isn't always so clear. Whether you start your music learning journey with a theory textbook or immediately playing on your instrument differs from genre to genre, culture to culture, and one teaching methodology to the next. So with that, let's take a little tour to discover two contrasting methods, learning methods, and find what works best for you. The first method is a holistic approach to learning. So you may be surprised to learn that in many musical cultures, such as Balinese gamelan and numerous African traditions, music is learned almost entirely by immersion, absorption, with virtually no theoretical instruction given. Students simply sit at the feet of their masters, both literally and figuratively, and they watch and they listen very, very closely to the music played at full complexity and speed for hours on end. The music is never slowed down or broken down into its component parts for the student, and this is called the holistic learning approach. And now it may seem so ineffective or even painful for the student. Over time, these fast and complex movements become internalized through osmosis. So essentially, the student learns through absorbing and internalizing the musical techniques, structures, and patterns without even realizing how he or she has done it. Now that's pretty amazing. But we're going to talk about the second approach to learning, and that is the atomistic approach. So on the flip side of a holistic approach, the atomistic approach is one where the music is broken down into small individual components and taught to the student in isolation. Later on, these separate components are fused together to form the musical whole. Now, much of Western and institutionalized music education is atomistic in nature. You have classes in rhythm, melody, harmony, form, and various studio classes where a multitude of techniques are broken down and slowly taught to the student. Now, in atomistic learning environments, it's common for lessons to be structured with the theoretical component first. Students sit in for a lecture on, say, harmony before being made to play pieces of music utilizing the very harmonic structures that were taught. Now, this all seems to make logical sense and seems to be the most effective and progressive learning and teaching methodology. However, if this was so, why is it that there's so many musical cultures that have practiced holistic learning and have so many brilliant musicians over generations? Well, with that, we're going to talk about the holistic versus the atomistic approach to learning. First off, a good way to parallel learning music is in how individuals first learn reading. Initially, people believed in what's called the ABC method, where students first learn the letters of the alphabet, followed by phrases, and then sentences. However, later studies have shown that people read by looking at large groups of words, not letters or individual words. In essence, we read by looking at the big picture and in understanding the entire context of the sentence. So, we can see our brain does not always function in a logical and progressive manner. Hence, in holistic learning environments, we take in everything at the same time, be it rhythm, melody, form, context, values, expressions, and even theory on a subconscious level. At the same time, we understand the music activity as a holistic process, not as disjointed components. This leads to many benefits of a holistic approach over atomistic approach, where students can better conceptualize and articulate the music seamlessly as a coherent whole. However, I also acknowledge that a barrage of seemingly incomprehensible visual and oral information can be frustrating, fatiguing, and discouraging. Sometimes it makes sense to just slow things down and talk about it first. So let's get back to our question, theory or technique first. In summary, my recommendation is to use a combination of both approaches to learning. Currently, my process for teaching and learning new material looks like this. Technique first. Just play, copy, and imitate. Let your fingers move before your brain even has a chance to process things. Followed by theory second. Once you're able to physically execute the motion to a considerable extent, then you delve into a cognitive understanding of what you're doing. Dissect and break down its individual components. Analyze them, piece them back together, and these will concretize your understanding of the musical whole. Next, repeat the process. Continue developing technique blindly, and thereafter make sense of it through an atomistic analysis. So now, I want to find out, what's your process in learning music? Do you begin with your brain or your fingers? Textbook or instrument? Theory or technique? Let's share our music learning approaches with one another, and I look forward to furthering our dialogue in the comment section below. So until next time, I'll see you again. Goodbye.